It is 6:33, and I would like to move into executive session for the purpose of interviewing and legal advice on various matters. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. So, we're in executive
So-
session. Okay, thank you very much. I would like to make a motion that we exit executive session. It is 7:03.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so good evening, everybody, and the public session is now reopened. And we'll start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our emergency exits are the two doors here on my right.
That's where they're staying.
And I would like a motion to, roll call. Sorry.
Raise your hand. That's okay.
Here.
Councilmembers Doyle? Here. Dietrich?
Here.
And let the record reflect that Councilwoman Ahern will be absent this evening.
Okay, now I would like a motion to accept the agenda as printed.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is a public comment on agenda items only. So anything on the agenda that somebody would like to make a comment on?
Okay, Judy Moran. I see that you are talking about videotaping the committees. Even if you don't videotape them if they can't come in here, I really think it would be a great idea to tape with a little video recorder or whatever, all of the committee meetings. It really should be done. The technology is not that expensive, and it would be a good idea for people to be able to see what happens. The affordable housing opportunities, I'm interested to see what you have to say. I know I have spoken to Ken. I have researched this myself. And so I'll be interested to see what you can do there. I would like to see us be able to offer them. But of course, that's not our decision alone. Let me see, well, this isn't a recreation report, but on recreation, we're doing a paint and sip on April 25th. It's a lovely painting. If anyone would like to attend, there's a...
Okay, but we're not on that committees yet.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just public comment.
Right, it said on agenda meetings, so I thought committees were agendas. Okay, I'll get up
Well,
again.
they are agenda. You'll have to go back up when we get to the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Supervisor's report. Judy and I actually had a team meeting with EPC, the Energy Performance Contract people, to look at how we might save on energy costs. They would analyze our costs and suggest projects that would save energy. This is a very early discussion, so as time goes on, I will have them do a presentation to the board, which they said they would be happy to do. I had to send them some vouchers of our electric bill and our heating bill, which were sent, so we'll see how that goes. On April 9th, I had the opportunity to review the town justice financials for the 2025 year as required by the Unified Justice Court Act of 20919-A. Everything was very organized. The records were very thorough. Thank you to Maureen Moore and Dawn Marie Klinger, for our court clerks, for their efficiency and attention to detail. The road sweeping for the town of Amenia is postponed to the week of April 27th from the week of the 20th due to truck issues. Another little, I think is exciting, I met with some consultants and DOT. They're going to do bridge work on that bridge that goes across the Wasatch Creek down by Jack's Auto, the one that always has horrendous potholes in it. So they're going to, they will be starting the work in the fall of 2026. They're not going to close it. They're not going to require detours. They're going to have those lights on either end of the bridge that controls the traffic. They will be bringing the structure to modern design standards. They will restore the integrity of the bridge, and they will improve the overall structure of the bridge. So I think that's some pretty exciting news. I did ask the question, though, given we learned from experience with the sidewalk that starting in the fall, was there going to be any problem with the concrete? And the answer was no, that they would not pour concrete when the weather was too cold, or they would use heaters. But they would be sure that we did not have an issue with that. Thank you to Megan Chamberlain and Clerk Dawn Marie Klingner, Marge Arnold, and Mike Segelkin for removing the limbs from the front of the town hall that have been sitting out there for quite a while. It's great teamwork. I met with our zoning consultant, Tom, and he's a consultant. He's a zoning consultant. He actually comes in once every 2 weeks, and he does some of the zoning issues. He pointed out some real errors of lack of clarity in our zoning code. One in particular is like fences, which seems to be a problem that pops up when he's doing inspections, when people have complaints. So he suggests that we address that and fill that hole. He did give me some examples from other towns, and so I'm going to put that on the discussion for the next meeting, and I will share with you some of the samples that he gave.
Thank you.
Another area is defining abandoned cars. I mean, that's another big issue in the town. So again, we'll take a look at that, but we will discuss that. I met with Isabel Bronson today, the Conservation Projects Coordinator for HVA, to review the easement and the management plan for Troutbeck. So they are the ones that anytime something needs to be done, there's a management plan. If the trees need to be cut, if a tree needs to be cut, if invasive species need to be removed, how they can remove it, and they send their request to HVA, and they approve or disapprove of the project. So that is something that, it was very interesting, it's very lengthy, and so I will have a lot of reading material, but she did go through the highlights, which was really great. There is a Shed the Meds event from 10 to 2 at Uniontown Hall on April 25th. If you have any expired or old over-the-counter drugs or prescription drugs, you can bring them and dispose of them. And I wanted to...
I'm sorry, can I just ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Is it all prescriptions, like even liquid?
I believe it is.
Thank you.
It did not say no liquids.
Yeah, I didn't see it,
said-
so thank you.
So that's all I can go. I also have to apologize to Cassidy Howard for leaving her out in my acknowledgement of the spring cleanup of Beekman Park. She was there to also help Sean and Richie, so thank you very much to Cassidy. And that concludes my supervisor's report.
Okay, so I am getting reports that your microphone is going in and out, so,
Mine?
yes.
When you push one more over, so there's two, and then Vicki, you can bring this one over.
Will that help?
Maybe that will help.
We're going to try it.
I think that they should watch it on YouTube, because honestly, when I watch it on YouTube, I don't hear any of these issues. It seems to be Cablevision, which I had a conversation with them today. That's much better.
Okay. Thank you for that report. So real quick, I do have our minutes from our previous meeting. Have you guys had the opportunity to review?
Oh, wait a minute, we have the committee reports now.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with you. Yes, Tom's so excited. So come on.
Hello, my name is Tom Busowitz. I'm currently the chairperson of the Enhancement Committee. I'm along with Lauren Wass, who's the secretary. We're the chief people. The members include myself, Lauren Wass, Marianne Snow Pitts, who's here, Kim Travis, Anna Hadjik, and the applicant that we had today hopefully will be approved. Our board liaison is Vicki Doyle, and we had our first meeting of the year on March 23rd. We'll be a little bit better in the future about notifying people when we have our meetings, which we didn't realize we have to be so formal about it, and we'll do that in the future. What we discussed at our meeting was a budget for the upcoming year. We had I think the budget was already established for us as far as, so we had to, for plantings and decorations, it's $4,927. Lauren Wass subsequently did a breakdown of the amount for budget purposes and for purchases in 2026. We also discussed, and Vicki gave us a update on the Fountain Square renovation was discussed. It was determined that there was $11,700 for design and cost estimating preliminary work. And I saw from her recent email from Vicki, they're expecting 2 bids this month, right?
We have
We have them.
received them.
You have them.
We're just
Right.
going to disseminate
But of
those.
course, this is obviously a joint project with the board. The board decides everything regarding this big project, so, but we're here to help, whatever. It says the committee will provide any ideas and suggestions going forward. The town board will hopefully move along this project. We're also co-sponsoring, and I'm sure Vicki and everybody else will talk more about it, the cleanup day, which is this Saturday, starting at 9 o'clock, I guess, here and in Wasaig, okay? And Arbor Day planting of a tree is scheduled for April 24th at 5 p.m. in Wasaig Trailhead. These people will also talk about that, in addition to other Arbor Day projects. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Any questions?
Nope. Thank you. Judy, Rec?
I thought Mary Ann was going to say the Arbor Day.
Just wanted to let people know we are having a paint and sip. They're always fun. If you don't think you can paint, trust me, you'll produce something very, very nice. I have zero artistic talent, and when I go home, it may not be a Renoir, but I wouldn't throw it out. It's better than I would expect. So anyone who'd like to come and have some companionship and paint a nice picture, please do so.
Where is that, Judy?
That is going to be in the town hall upstairs. It's the 25th from 11 to 1. And there's refreshments there. When we say sip, there's no alcoholic beverages, but there's other stuff to sip, so that's okay. And I did say we had a wonderful Easter egg hunt. That's about it. Little League, even though it's not town-sponsored, Little League has started. So they had a nice opening day. And yeah, and I know the board members were there, so appreciate that. And that's about it. Thank you.
The Water Committee is going to wait until the next meeting or the second meeting in May, whichever. If they're going to do a presentation, they can actually do it next week if they're going to do it as a committee report to update the update the progress on the water project. And Highway Department's not here, and so, all right, Town Clerk now.
Okay. Okay, so the minutes of April 1st were circulated to the board. Are you guys ready to move on those?
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept the
Walter?
minutes, excuse me. Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. You're up. The one that reminds people that I forgot, I'm sorry. I make a motion that we accept the minutes as sent.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. For tax collection, as we know, it's almost concluding, May's right around the corner. Total taxes collected to date, $7,818,522.19, with penalty being collected in the amount of $7,457.57, with remaining uncollected of $1,271,326.20. Second notices were mailed earlier this week, so you're going to notice that they're a cool yellow, so it kind of stands out in your mailbox. So if you get a yellow notice, please follow the information that's on there. I am presenting the abstract. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and signing those vouchers. And at this time, I'm seeking authorization for the supervisor to pay claims as follows. General Fund A, $114,715.47. Highway Fund, $17,506.20. Amenia Lighting, $1,352.58. Wasaic Lighting, $517.09. Amenia Water, $22,174.40. Water District Capital Project, $334,174.30. Highway Garage Capital Project, $2,516.50, for a total this month, $292,956.54. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Walter,
I'll second.
Vicki, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm also sharing some exciting news, but it's also sad news for the town, but it's exciting. Judy Westfald has sent out and has informed us that she is retiring. So after her very successful past 10 years serving here as our Planning and Zoning Secretary, as of June 1st, she will be retiring. So congratulations, Judy, on that milestone. I have been working with George Bestranson, and he has requested some additional days for the use of the auditorium, having been that there's nothing scheduled. I guess they have to do auditions for this big event. So those days are coming up, and I went ahead and I suggest to Wednesday, May 27th from 7 to 9, and Saturday, May 30th from 3 to 5, and I'm sure there's going to be more information as that becomes closer. Fire Department, our delicious pancake breakfast has been canceled. And I know everybody's upset. I've had a lot of phone calls, text messages, and comments here at the town hall, but that's okay, because I want you to save the date for Saturday, May 2nd. We're having our steak bake, so come still get to see us, so still support your local fire department. So we'll look forward to seeing you at our steak bake. And that concludes the town clerk's report.
Okay. Discussion items. Revisit the cell tower funds. We've gone back and forth on this. Ian, do you want to weigh in on that?
So, I was not at the last meeting, but there was an email that went out with regards to cell tower.
Use the mic.
Oh, sorry.
If we talk too loud in the mic, though, then we get complaints from people that are watching on TV they can't understand because we're shouting and it's too garbled. So there's kind of a fine line that we have to follow, unfortunately.
He has a soft voice. He was like that.
Is this better? I think, I'll try to,
Project.
yes, I'll try to not get too close to. This is about as best as my rock and roll career was right here, so. So, the cell tower funds, there was, I think Vicki, you had sent an email to me with regards to the application of those funds, and there was discussion about whether or not if these leases have to do with water district property, as they were on the water, I guess if they were on the water tower, but there's nothing on the water tower. There's no, the cell tower itself exists on town-owned property. All of the leases are on that cell tower. We have 3 now that are on that tower. I did go back and look at all of our resolutions, all the resolutions, and even the original management agreement with what was JNS and is now Crown. It all relates to the property that we have now.
Who owns the actual water tower? You say that the cell tower
The
is
water
not-
tower property's owned. There's a little carve out of the water tower
actual
where the
water
water tower is on it.
Yeah,
That is all owned by the water district.
okay,
That is part of Amenia Water District Number 1.
okay.
The remainder of that parcel, and I don't know exactly when it got cut out, but there is that little cutout for the water tower. But the balance of that is owned by the town.
Even though the water pump and the pump house are surely purchased by the water district or not? I mean, so the water district owns.
They own the
equipment.
land. As far as the water tower, like the actual tower itself, I didn't look into who owns the actual tower because it wasn't really germane to what we're
Okay.
discussing with the cell tower leases.
Okay.
So, but the actual property is owned by
Town.
the town that the land that the water tower sits on is owned by the water district. The town, the property that the cell tower is on is owned by the town.
Okay.
Okay? So I did go back again and look at, there's a number of different resolutions that were done by this board over the years with regards to the application of those funds. And I guess in short, to sum it up, I would say that those resolutions, particularly since there's an additional lease on there, I would recommend that the board revisit those resolutions and take a look at how those funds are being applied, and we can discuss further about what that means, but it's been a while, and I do think that there should be some revisiting of those funds.
So the bottom line is, the money should be going to, in the town budget.
Town property,
In the-
general fund.
In the general fund. And the board has the authority, though, to,
Allocate it.
yes, allocate some of that money to other places. For example, some of the money that we do allocate to recreation.
Correct. Based on the current resolutions, we allocate 1,200 to the rec department, and the balance of all the other leases goes to general fund.
And that's per month.
Correct.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And that goes into the savings for capital improvements, is that correct? It doesn't, it goes into your general
So-
Yeah, it must go into
So
a savings account, it can't go.
The original resolution had an allocation for capital and daily function. There's another type for it, I forgot exactly what it was worded, but there was a split in one of the first resolutions. That was amended and changed thereafter, which then made it just 1,200 to rec and 1,200 to, and the balance, anything over 1,200 would go to general fund. So that resolution, I don't think it's stated specifically if it went to anything other than just rec. So it did not rec, no other line underneath rec. So,
So it can go to any, so the rec funds can be allocated to any of the general fund. It can't go to any special district,
correct,
because the money was generated on town property.
correct,
So everything is following as it should.
Correct.
And any particular budget item could, in fact, be a potential in the general fund.
Or we could actually allocate more money to rec, or we could allocate money to the water district, but that would be,
No, I don't think
Not-
you can-
not to the
you
water
can't do
district.
it.
huh? Not-
district is separate.
Yeah,
But
if it didn't originate there.
correct, and that's pretty much the opinions that you had
Yeah,
found and
yeah, yeah,
requested.
no,
That's
okay.
what
It's
they're,
cut and
yeah.
dried. Yeah,
Yeah, so, water district funds have to stay within the water district. You can't cross taxing districts or taxing bodies.
Right now, we're
So,
not taxing them, so how does that figure in?
The water district,
Oh, that was taken off our,
any fund generated out of the water district,
Okay.
it has to stay within the water district. But the way the resolutions were drafted and amended over time could be better. And so it's my recommendation that the board take a closer look at that. And
well,
that should be something we
the funding has
should.
increased anyway, so.
Correct, so
a
it should be,
full
it's a good time to,
consideration
yes.
Should be made.
Absolutely, it's a good time to take a look.
Right.
Because we have additional funds now coming in.
But this is pure revenue. This is not a tax. So can some of that also go to water? Because it's revenue. Water can't get any money other than from itself?
So the These funds, the way it's set up right now, the answer is no.
The way we've set it up right now, or the New York State law?
No, it's owned by the town,
I
it goes to
understand
general
that.
fund. That's where,
Okay.
No, it goes to the town, but what I'm saying is, but you're saying that we can't say to the water district that you can have some of this money for your capital project, like we did for rec.
you're saying if you take general fund monies and you want to spend it towards the water district. I don't think you can do that. I would have to double check that, though. I was looking at it going
If
the
you could,
opposite
please,
direction.
yeah.
If you're looking for it to go back to the water district,
No, but we allocated some money to the rec.
Their general fund.
but rec is still in general fund, it's not a separate taxing
Right.
body. The problem is that when you have a water district or a sewer district, the funds that are generated, and the question that I thought I was being asked last time was that that there was an understanding that the cell tower equipment for these leases were on the water tower, and that which was owned by the water district. So if it's unused water district property that they have, then the funds would stay within water, right? So we wouldn't be able to allocate it to rec. But that's not how that was set up. It was never set up like
Right,
that. It
that's
was a
very clear now.
townwide.
So
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're just trying to figure out if we can get some more money to both rec and water, that's all. So,
Like ARPA funds, it was our prerogative to provide them with money.
Well, ARPA funds were grant funds, right? So that's a different,
Yeah, but it's revenue that wasn't raised by taxpayers in the non-water district.
It was part of the requirements. It was set forth in that grant.
ARPA funds had strict guidelines to it, so when those funds came in, however they were to be allotted per the grant, that's how
Okay, so
they
you
were
will
done.
check to see if we
I'll look
can
to see. I
get
think the answer's
the revenue.
no, but I
excess.
don't want to, I'll double check. Because I don't want to represent something that's not accurate,
Okay.
so.
All right, the next item on the discussion items is videotaping committees. So, we did have some discussion, and one of the things that we talked about was having, like before we had this new system set up, we had a period of time where there was a cell phone on a tripod, and that's the way it was videoed. So, the question is, can we do that with the committees? So that the other committees are videoed, are available. One of the problems is getting it onto YouTube, and according to our expert back there, it's too large to just email to Matt to have it put up, so it would have to be uploaded to the OneDrive. But maybe, Matt, maybe you could give us a clearer idea of what that would entail?
So we actually do have a portable PTZ camera that's similar to that we got for, in the event that we had to do something in the auditorium. And we do have some Bluetooth microphones that we can probably hook together with that. So I'm sure we can come up with something that would make it of reasonable quality so everybody can, hear it and see it similarly to what we have in here, but it would just be at a much smaller scale, so.
And it would be something that the committee themselves could do?
Yeah. And we can set it up in wherever room they are. Like I said, it's a portable PTZ camera, so I'll have controls, like we can set it in one corner of the room or, whatever. And it has a built-in microphone. We also have Bluetooth microphones that I can hook up to it that either we can set in the center of the table for the committee members, or key committee members can wear them on their person. So we do have some equipment that may be able to accommodate that.
But my question is, it wouldn't require a videographer. It could be the chairperson of
Yeah.
the committee, or
Yeah.
that could do that.
Yep.
And would that,
Yeah, you can do either you can either use a memory card, or you can hook it to a laptop, or yeah.
and how much extra work would that be for you? I guess you would then take that.
Yeah, I mean,
recorded-
if we use a memory card, it's just a matter of plugging it into our current system and then uploading it to YouTube from there. If it hooks through a laptop. We may even be able to stream right through the same service. It just depends on how much we want to put into setting it up. If we set it up through a laptop or something so it streams directly to YouTube, it'll take a little bit more permanent setup for wherever the the committee's meetings take place. If we did it through a memory card, we can do it anywhere.
It won't take you a tremendous amount of work to transfer that information.
No, once it goes to the
and upload.
OneDrive, it's actually very simple. It'll just upload directly from there and it'll be ready to go.
So we load it onto the OneDrive, you could access it there and take it onto the internet. Okay, onto our website or
Yeah.
YouTube channel, okay. That seems like a good, I mean, it's not very expensive, right? And yet it does the transparency and allows people to participate or understand what's going on in these committees,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
A lot of bang for a very little investment, if committees are willing to volunteer to do this minimal. Would you train?
yeah, it would be like a really easy training. It's just a couple of, it's really just gonna be, for that setup specifically, it'll basically be just click record and go. And then when we upload it, we can, add the Amenia stuff in there just so it's, more official and not just kind of a raw recording, so.
Sounds great.
So if we did that, then it would be best to use a memory card
It would
and not
be the
have
most
a
user-friendly,
laptop,
yeah.
because then we'd have to invest in a laptop.
Yeah, it'd be the most user-friendly.
Unless
for
we
sure.
all have our own laptop and we have our town email and we have our town OneDrive and we're all ready to go with our laptop. So that would be the simplest if people brought their own laptop who had the email access.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, whatever way you want to do it, we can make it happen. I mean, it'll be pretty straightforward, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you think we would like to move forward with that?
Yeah, is there any resolution or anything that we need to do to just put that into activity?
I think we just have to really work with Matt and his availability to teach the chairs and somebody, maybe even a member on with those committees. And then really the thing to decide is the location, because some folks are still meeting behind the auditorium. We do have the meeting room that is available on the second floor.
Mhm.
That is open. I know he says it's portable, but really what is portable when we're talking a difference between a laptop versus this camera? I mean, maybe Matt, I know you haven't had any meetings upstairs, but maybe you would want to see that space so that way we can all agree on where these meetings are going to take place. And I like how you're saying
Yeah, one
upstairs.
spot, if they could all take
spot,
place in the same, so
So
it's
that
not
way it's
moved around.
set forth. And then, I know we set the calendar up in this room, so everybody knew what the use of this room was, but if we're gonna do the same upstairs, this is where we're talking not only transparency, so the viewers can watch and our town folks can watch, but we wanna make sure the room is set up.
Truthfully, probably because for sound purposes, it would probably be better to do it in the meeting room upstairs.
Okay.
And also it'll be, you can spread the committee members out like you all sit up there, so that would I think that would be the best experience. The auditorium will have possible echo issues, so probably sound-wise and just easier setup-wise. I mean, you could even have that camera be the specific camera for that room, and given that it's not far away for future use, we can possibly even tie it into this system. So,
Okay.
yeah.
To be clear, when you say meeting room, there's a break room and there's an old planning board room. Are you
Planning
talking the
board
old planning board room?
Yeah.
Okay, I just
Yep.
wanted to be sure.
So as far as the training is concerned, I bet Matt could whip up a little training video, to show how in that way, people can look at it before their meetings, rather than have him have to come in and try to get people together to train or train people at different times, that perhaps you could do a little how-to.
Yeah,
Is
we
that
could,
possible?
and actually, we could probably honestly set it up, depending on connectivity and everything up there, we might even be able to set it up so it's a couple clicks and it uploads by itself too, so we just have to kind of look in, we have it, it just hasn't been set up yet, so I'd be willing to come in, one day after work and, take a look at it and see if we can just make it just as simple as they just click a button and it does what we do here, kind of, just upload right to YouTube, so.
That would be wonderful.
Okay. Do we need any kind of resolution or anything to videotape the other? I don't think we did when we did the planning board or the ZBA.
I don't think it would require a resolution. If you're willing to meet with whoever's going to do it, and they set it up and they put it together, it's,
It's open meetings laws, right? I mean,
well,
we're
under open
following-
meetings law, there's no requirement for the video,
No, but
but-
it's the spirit of it.
but it certainly is
I'm
a
sure they wouldn't
benefit.
frown on more transparency.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, we're not spending any money on it, so it's, I don't see any.
Now, and that equipment then can be moved if there has to be some kind of public hearing in the auditorium.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very portable.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you.
that sounds
That
good.
was easy.
The next discussion item is how can municipalities offer affordable housing opportunities that give preference to Amelia residents and essential workers who serve our community. One of the things in my research that I've done is we pretty much can't. In 2023, when the housing law was created, it was created apparently with AKRF, and there was a clause in there of offering preferences to the people to the town of Amenia residents, and it was taken out at the request of Ashley from AKRF, because she said that we probably could end up with a lawsuit. I spoke to an Albert Jacobs from the Division of Human Rights, and he basically said, I can't tell you not to do it, I'm not an attorney. He says, but I am suggesting to you that it can cause a problem for us to do that, which is one of the biggest concerns that people have about having affordable housing is the fact that it does not necessarily help the town of Amenia. So, but I think the short answer is that we really can't do it.
I will just say that I had reached out also to Clay, his name is, Clayton Gurnett at Dutchess County. Dutchess County Planning and Development used to have a fabulous housing expert who advised town of the Amenia when we were first doing our planning, our new comprehensive plan update and new codes, and we had put in those preferences, and she had recommended that we do this from the start, but that was early days when affordable housing ordinances like this were being done. But I asked Clay if there was a successor. Her name was Ann Saylor, and she came out to many of our comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan was done over 7 years, so we had a lot of planning and thought and that went into it. And Clay said that there's nobody right now at the county level, but he said that we could look at the town of Fishkill's affordable housing program that does utilize a point system like I was describing used to be in the town's code. And if we want to look into that further as a local example, we could. So I think it can be, but I think what is being recommended in order to avoid any appearance of violating the law that says you have to have fair and equal rights to housing. I'm not saying it right, but there is a law that is very specific about not discriminating in your housing opportunities. So everybody who buys, sells houses understands this is a very important law not to violate. So awarding a point system to a particular segment of your residents, saying that they need to be Ameenia residents for X number of years, you are creating perhaps a system where you are singling out a particular kind of people, maybe to the exclusion of someone else. So I'm not an expert. I'm just saying that the jury's still out. Fishkill is operating this way. It is something that we can continue to look into, but if we, as a town, say we don't want to go anywhere near this, that could be potentially a problem, then that's, I guess, the way it would go.
So if you, do you have any contact with the person in Fishkill? Because I think we should certainly take a look at it. I know it's a big concern of people in town that they may not have the opportunity to take advantage of that, and that, you know, these are people that actually work in town, they may volunteer as fire company people, they volunteer, they work for the highway department, they work, they teach in our local school district, they're a nurse at our local hospital, and, you know, the fact that they are not able to get have any kind of preference at all as far as affordable housing, I think I think we should investigate it as much as we can investigate it. So if you can,
Okay.
if you want to reach out to Fishkill and get their example of how they do it, their point system, I think that would be a great idea.
I will invite, if everybody's okay with that, Maureen McLennan is the housing administrator there, and it has her phone number and her email. And they have a priority point system that preferences residency, a current or former town resident, non-resident parent, age 62 of a current town resident, Dutchess County resident. They have a whole thing that emergency services workers, firefighters, ambulance services, military service people. So I will invite her to come and explain why they feel that they are not violating any laws by implementing this.
I think
So-
that's great.
Okay.
This was on the agenda, so I poked around. You can do it. It can be done. It has an element of risk to it because it needs to be carefully done, as everybody has found on their own research here. I believe it was in 2023, New York City was in a lawsuit, which may have been why around that time everyone, at least in 23, was saying don't do it. The lawsuit ultimately was settled. The issue in New York City is they had a percentage of affordable housing that was going to be available for local people. And that percentage number was 50%, extremely high. So they ultimately settled it down to 20%. And a lot of the research that I've been looking at and seeing, 20% seems to be the limit, well, from what I've seen. I did look to see if there were other municipalities. Town of New Paltz also just passed one in 2025. That could be another avenue or location that we could look at to see how they set that up and how they set up their point systems or their lottery systems or whatever preference that they're giving, the criteria for the preferences, who's getting the preferences, which is, Vicky, what you just kind of read off. There are lists of
Specific
correct.
residents.
Yep, correct. And, you know, there's criteria that you could put together, but because it's I don't want to say gray area, but it's certainly a vulnerable area, I would highly recommend that we dot our I's and cross our T's on any policy that you create, because some of the issues is you can inadvertently create discriminatory practices. So there needs to be studies on how this is going to be played out. It's an involved venture, but it's one that I think can be done.
That would be great. Because I got all negatives in all my research.
And-
So I'm glad the rest of you
I
read
will
better.
say that's largely because of how exposed you are doing it, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean that it's not possible to create something,
Yeah.
because others have done it.
The only one I heard from Mr. Jacobs was that senior housing is exempted from that. So you can designate for senior housing.
And a lot of towns do senior housing, right? But they can't say it prefers Amenia residents who are seniors.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Again, there's-
Rosendale put aside X amount and had a beautiful senior housing for their seniors. It's amazing, for a little podunk town to pull it off.
There's senior housing everywhere.
And-
But-
But for their own residents. I mean,
So like Tally Ho, I mean,
I think there would be the ability to craft something in such a fashion. I do believe you could probably do that. But again, and I won't unless the board tells me to proceed further on it. So
The next item is parking in front of Dollar General, which I'm going to have to, well, we can discuss it, but I got conflicting reports. I called DOT. The sign there in front of Dollar General, I don't think is very, I mean, it's there that says no parking, but it's kind of an odd spot, and I think we need better signage there. I think we need to have the curb painted. I was told by one member of the DOT that where cars park in town, even on State Road, is the town's decision to make. I was told by our attorney that that is not true, so I reached out to somebody else in DOT and sent them a picture of the sign, and they haven't gotten back to me yet, so there really is nothing else I have to offer on that. But I do notice that even those big trucks that used to park across there in front of Dollar General to run into Cumberland Farms are now not parking right there in front of Dollar General. So I know that, so I think maybe the sheriffs may have had some impact on that, because they're parking down closer to the synagogue than they are right there in front of Dollar General, blocking the view of people coming out of Mechanic Street. So I think we are making some progress in the parking issues on Main Street, not 100%, but we need to thank the deputy sheriffs for, stepping up and being involved. I think the speed is better, at least coming in on 343 with the speed sign there. So thank them for that. Okay, so anybody want to add anything to that?
The vehicle and traffic law is, in my opinion, pretty clear that the town cannot regulate on a state road. It does state that you can't do that without authorization or permission. So there would have to be something in writing from DOT saying, proceed. And if they do so, then if that is the case and we have that, then I could draft a local law and we could regulate up to whatever authority they give us.
The interesting thing about that, though, is we had a concern about parking on the county road on Old Route 22, and it was a concern that's been brought a couple of times to my attention. I called the county, and they basically told me the same thing. We have no rules or regulations on where people can park on the county roads. That's your problem. So I don't know. So that's why I say I have to investigate that further. So we'll just have to kind of leave that for now and wait for them to get back. We have no consent agenda. We have no resolutions. We have no non-consent agenda. Other matters? Anybody have other matters?
I actually have something. I neglected to say that I knew you guys had the opportunity.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yes.
I knew you guys had the opportunity to interview candidates for your enhancement committee.
Oh, yes.
Did you guys want to move on that tonight?
I'll
Yes.
make a motion that we appoint Becky King to the Enhancement Committee and welcome her to that committee.
I second that.
Thank you, Walter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome, Becky.
Okay. Town board comments?
I have just a few. Let's see. I was going to say, well, we already said cleanup day is Saturday, April 18th from 9 to noon. And if you have any large items or trash that you've picked up alongside the roads or the rail trail in either Wassaic or in Amenia, you can call me and we'll send a utility trailer around to pick that up if you just tell us where you are located. And that is 845-489-7826. And that's both the Enhancement Committee and the Conservation Advisory Council are spearheading these efforts, and you can sign in at either Borden Park across from Maxim Mills in Wassaic, the little picnic tables. There'll be a little sign-in sheet. You'll have bags. You'll have reflective vests to grab, or you can come to Bank of Millbrook, Fountain Square. There'll be a little bench there, and you can sign yourself in and pick up your bags and your vests there. And if you just let me know where you're headed, that'll help me also drive around and make sure bags get picked up.
just want you to clarify when you're talking about the larger items, these are items that are found on the roads as we're cleaning up, not at people's homes.
Yeah, like a
We don't
chair
have
you
that.
see out there that's been rained on and somebody just, we've gotten TVs, we've gotten all kinds of weird things, that you come across mattresses, carpets that people have just offloaded. This is the time. We have a utility trailer, we have free transfer station use today, for that day, thanks to Welsh. They waive this every year for us, and so we bring in a full utility trailer and we bring it in free. I will say that they are not keen to take tires. So tires are within a limit. If you find a whole bunch that has been tossed in some kind of ravine, you need to tell me, and we'll make a plan to deal with it, but it may not be that weekend.
Okay.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I have a few more things, sorry. I was wondering about repairing the split rail fence down in Wassaic. Is that something that the rec workers would be able to do, or is that kind of I didn't know if that got on somebody's agenda. Thank you, Rosanna, if you
We'll
can.
put it on the agenda for the next time.
Okay,
In discussion.
That's great. So that's a split rail fence from the rail trail head in Wassaic, going towards the park, Wassaic Park. It's just along Pauling Corp and the railroad fencing.
Okay.
And the Arbor Day tree planting is Friday, April 24th at 5 PM. Meet at Maxon Mills, and we'll go out and plant a tree in honor of Arbor Day. And I think Polly Mary Ann will tell us a little bit about that later. The steps were fixed by Tim Morgan, a brick mason, so that in this situation, we needed to get that done quickly. So Rosanna and I reached out to somebody who came very quickly and got the steps to the Bank of Millbrook fixed, at least temporarily until we do a big renovation. Town Hall Energy Audit, the CAC and Climate Smart Task Force received a grant in 2023 and completed an energy audit in 2023. I sent it to the town board members because I know Rosanna is doing some more work, and I thought that history of what has been done would be helpful in informing any, future recommendations that might come out of that. That's all I have.
I don't have anything this week. Excuse me.
Okay, and I believe today was the cutoff for receiving proposals from the two people we interviewed for Fountain Square. So we will have that on the discussion item for next, I think I sent them to you.
Yes.
So review them, and I think we'll put that on the discussions for the next meeting.
Great.
Is it okay for me to forward those two proposals to the Enhancement Committee, which is interested in helping to analyze that, or do you want that to first go to the town board for that discussion?
I'll refer to the attorney on that.
Board's still reviewing.
I think that if the town board hasn't had an opportunity, I think the town board should have first opportunity to review and comment on them thereafter.
Okay.
And I kind of agree with that, because I think that, so I think where the enhancement and committee is going to come in is when the actual planning starts.
Once we've selected a
Once we
firm?
select it,
Okay.
yes. So once we actually have selected somebody, I think that then we bring in people that will have an idea or offer ideas, including, again, like I said, George Whalen from the Millbrook Bank. So I think that would be the best way to handle that.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing is a public comment on all business, and I believe we have some people here that want to speak on an Arbor Day.
And the proclamation.
I'm Mary Ann Snowpits, and this is Paul Arcario. Paul's been helping me navigate Arbor Day Foundation application. And it's a process. So my goal for the town of Amenia is to make a tree city established and known by Arbor Day Foundation. And they have 4 basic standards that we looked up on the internet. One is holding an annual public Arbor Day observance, planting a tree, documenting with photos, newspaper articles, or other proof. Can include in educational programming. Enact a tree care ordinance to assign authority for the helping maintenance and removal of trees on public property. Establish a tree board or department responsible for managing public trees. Can be existing departments such as Parks and Recreation. Include chairperson, contact information, and 5 additional board members. Include the town supervisor contact. And the third standard, or the 4th standard that I didn't mention, was spend at least $2 per capita annually on community tree care activities. And we understood that to be $2 per person residence, and we have something like 3,800, and so we came up with $7,600 with Amenia's population. And it's a lot, but I'm hoping that going forward, we started a tree ceremony with a planting last year on the rail trail that's town-owned property. And I would like to continue, plant another tree in the same area on the rail trail and have it be a start. We want to have this proclamation done by the town board. I'm not sure if it has to be done every year. Haven't looked at those questions, but it's a beautiful Arbor Day official proclamation. If you have a moment, I'd love to read it to you, that they suggest. Arbor Day official proclamation. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing erosion in our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating temperature, cleaning the air, producing life oxygen, providing habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees are in our town, increasing property values, enhancing economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, Rosanna Ham, Town Supervisor of Town of Amenia, do hereby proclaim the last Friday in April as Arbor Day in the Town of Amenia. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support, and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And therefore, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote well-being of this and future generations. This is dated the 16th of April, 2026. Town Supervisor Rosenihan. Now, I'm not asking you to sign it tonight, but it's something that would be wonderful to go forward with this Arbor Day Foundation standards, that we can meet it, become a tree city, and just promote native tree planting.
Could you scan or send us a copy of your standards?
Yes.
So maybe email it to the whole board, just so that we can review that too. I mean, I would like to see that. And it's interesting you talk about the clearing of trees. But in my conversation this morning with each HVA, they don't recommend we clear trees unless it's a hazard to a property, because they say they're a habitat. So, and that if they are taken down, to leave the wood where it is, you know, like, because I had actually mentioned the fact that around my house, so many trees have fallen, the old elm trees, ash trees, the things that have died, and the wind has blown pieces of it off, and I wanted to clear it, and she said, don't do that, leave it there, it's good for decomposition and all of that. So, where does that fit in with?
Well, it can fit in with working with the town highway so that they don't take a whole tree down but leave a stub for woodpecker holes. Death and decay is part of it, as long as it's not in an area. Working with HVA a couple of years ago along the 10 Mile in Dover Plains, a lot of the border of the river had been washed, so they did a planting of trees, and the town highway, not knowing, started clearing, and so it created more flooding. It was the opposite what needed to be done, just like you're saying, where the more we clean up, the more flooding happens downstream. So it's having that buffer zone on the edge of a stream to help, and that's education too, and that can be part of our tree city down the road. But in starting to establish these criteria, I think we're really helping the town in many ways going forward.
Okay, if you would just send those standards to us, that would be great.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Marianne,
Paul?
you might want to talk with Barbara Boyles or Nina Peak, because from the planning board, we do have harvesting in the town, and it's highly regulated, and we don't allow, you know, just the trees to be cut down willy-nilly. And they might be able to give you some support in that, how we really do watch out to make sure that the habitats are safe, and that there's, by the streams, that there's a corridor and everything. We had several when I was on the board, so you might want to give them a buzz.
Great. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Arcario. I live on Lake Amelia Road. I'll also give you the standards. I have some copies here.
Great, thank you.
The standards are more fully explicated on the website, so I can send you that, send you the website as well. I just want, Marianne has really covered it all. I just wanted to add that we felt the proclamation is really kind of doable. It doesn't actually commit to becoming a tree city, but it's one of the steps that's very doable. Since we already have an Arbor Day, we've done it last year, we'll be doing it this year. So we put this together, we gave you, as you have a copy of that. That's just what it would look like, the type of thing, and whenever you might feel that you could approve something like that, or consider approving that, that would be terrific. And also, when we're going to talk with Pauling is a tree city, Millbrook is a tree city.
Right.
So we will also talk with them as we do some research. You know, what does an ordinance look like? What does the board apparently you can involve existing, you could have a member from various committees on this to make sure that you're connecting with the enhancement committee and not create something separate. There's already money being spent on trees, I'm sure, on tree removal, whatever. So as far as that $7,600, there may be a lot of that already in existence. They also allow you to count volunteer hours towards the $7,600 too, which is kind of interesting. So there's a lot of research that we would have to do to move forward, but I think we'd be very interested if you could consider the proclamation this year. That would be great. But
Can you say a little bit about how
Yes.
the Amenia Garden Club is helping to
yes,
support?
yeah. So I'm also on the board of the Amenia Garden Club. We are funding the tree. So we'll be paying for the tree, yes, absolutely, and talking with, you all know Ken Montero is on the board, and speaking with him today, and we think that we can easily fund the planting of a tree going forward. That's something that we can handle as well. So the club is committed to supporting this as well. So, thank you.
So, just one question.
Yes,
So
of
is this
course.
proclamation for perpetuity, or is it done every year, or?
That's something so that template is from the Arbor Day Foundation. I would have to look at that. It wasn't clear if it has to be done, you mentioned that, every single year or not. We picked the last Friday in April, that's New York, right, Marion? That's New York State Arbor Day, so we matched that. I'm sure if you wanted to tweak, if you're more comfortable with having it year by year, we could tweak the language.
No,
and
I was just curious. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know the answer. I could find that out for sure. Thanks. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ian, do we need to do anything for that?
For,
Yeah, for proclamation, can we just?
you would do a resolution accepting the proclamation would be done, yeah. It's, if the board wanted to do it, we could have it on the next agenda and we can vote on it at that time.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Judy?
On the topic of the recording, I would suggest that you use the card, only because the Wi-Fi here is horrible. And I think that trying to actually stream and upload something might turn out well and might turn out to be something that's a real problem for the committees as they try to do their work. Which brings me to the next thing I was going to talk about. The Wi-Fi here is horrible. I wish we could do something to find out why. I have Optimum Wi-Fi at my home. I have 1 gig. I realize I don't have all these offices, but my sons stream a lot of stuff, and I never have a problem. I don't understand why it's so bad here.
Interesting you mention that, because I had a rather heated discussion with Optimum today. I'm not a fan, and especially with the method of trying to get to somebody who's human to talk to. But they say the speed here is fine. Now, I don't know if we need additional, so here's my experience. When I'm in my office, I have my phone here, I'm on my laptop, my phone pings, makes that noise that I have an email coming in, and I timed it, and it's almost 2 minutes before it shows up on my laptop. So, that seems to me that shouldn't be happening. So when I talked to him, he said, well, maybe the router isn't reaching you. Well, this is a town hall, it's 2 floors, then maybe we need more than 1 router. So, I think I'm going to have to call them again, even in the morning when I come in and try to upload in my emails. I mean,
I'd like to
buffers
jump
and buffers
in
and buffers.
because I've already gone through this in my house that's just down the road. Optimum will keep telling you that everything's fine, and everything is fine as far as they're concerned. I had to get enhancers put in on the first floor and the second floor. There's a place in Sharon that I went to. It's not cheap, it's not that expensive either, but it does cost money. For my own house, it was, I think, $1,000 to $1,200. but I got, well, I 3 enhancers, one, because in old buildings, when with thick walls and everything, I
Yes.
know people say, you know, oh, no, it doesn't. It does. And Optimum won't help you, so we might have to look into that.
That
It
surprises
changed
me, because
completely.
I got one extender free from them. I called them up because I wanted to reach out to my garage. They sent me 3, my total bill went up by $10. So I'm surprised that you had to buy them. They will supply them.
Are they $1,200 apiece?
No, it was the whole thing, and also this company is now monitoring me. They know when things are going wrong, and
Yeah.
it was, I got the stuff through Optimum first, but it just barely made a difference.
Ah.
So I chose to, I'm not saying
Right.
I chose to, because I also do my work.
I have an
there,
old
too.
house too, so I was thinking it was probably similar, but.
Yeah, anyway.
But as far as the town goes, you have a router, but you should also have signal points
Yeah.
spread throughout the building. I don't know if you do. I think you're going to need to talk to your
You have to just-
internet.
You have to call Ron and let him know what your experience is, because as we were on the phone, this was happening.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing, so it doesn't matter if you're on the first floor or the second, it's happening to all of us, it's just, I hear a ding, the Surface can go ding, and then the computer
Yeah.
goes ding. So let Ron know that, what you're experiencing, that it's getting worse, because they did put in access points,
Okay,
several
yeah.
locations.
I mean,
And
but
we just gotta
that
let 'em
has
know.
to be
But they should be involved.
adequate too. Yeah, they should be, because all Optimum does is supply the signal. Somebody else is distributing
What
it.
do I have there? I only get 2 bars on my phone.
Yeah, we can call, I can
Yeah.
email Ron
All
and
right,
everybody.
I'll email them. Okay.
And the other thing was, I don't know so much whether anyone is aware on the town board or the planning board, but I'd like to read to you zoning section 12142K, administrative and monitoring agency. This is for workforce housing. The town board shall appoint a housing board, which shall promote, administer, and monitor the workforce housing program. The town board, in consultation with the housing board, may retain a qualified administrative entity to facilitate the administration and monitoring of the workforce housing program, including workforce housing built and/or owned by the town. The housing board would have direct oversight of the administrative entity. So whether anybody realizes it or not, you guys are going to be responsible for hiring somebody to oversee the workforce housing program and paying for it. And the housing board is still going to be responsible for making sure they do a good job. I don't know that volunteers who signed on, that's the law, Vicki, read it.
Well, I think, are you talking about the Habitat for Humanity?
No, I'm
Are you
talking about the project that's in front of,
Cascade Creek? That is Hudson River Housing, and as far as I recall, what you've just talked about, in my understanding, has to do with affordable housing that the town would build and create.
No, that's
no,
not
I
affordable.
just read, including housing that the town board shall appoint a housing board which shall promote, administer, and monitor the workforce housing program. They may retain a qualified administrative entity to facilitate the administration and monitoring of the workforce housing program, including workforce housing built and/or owned by the town. The housing board would have direct oversight of the administrative entity, which, if it's HRH, which could be a not-for-profit organization, government agency, private consultant staff, or other entity qualified to perform the responsibilities specified in this section as delegated by the Housing Board or by contract with Dutchess County. We are still responsible for making sure it's done right. Specifically, the Housing Board is still responsible.
Is going to own that property.
It
not the
doesn't
town.
matter if it's done under the workforce housing
We're
program.
not
All right,
paying
all
for
right.
it, we're not doing anything other than they have a right to build as an owner, whatever it is that they are going to be given a right to and approved by the planning board. The town Housing Board has offered
Perhaps we could
opinions.
ask Ian for an opinion on that.
Sure, but my understanding is that the Hudson River Housing operates their own units.
And my
they're just
understanding is
simply-
that under our law, if it says the housing board's in charge, the housing board's in charge. So perhaps we could get
Yeah,
an opinion from Ian.
Sorry,
So it's
that's,
something that we can investigate.
yeah. Judy, I'm sorry, just for my clarification, that's our town law?
That's our town code.
Thank you.
Yep. 12142K.
Thank you. If you'd like to go to the podium.
So perhaps you can do some, can you interpret that for us?
The planning board should be on top of what all is involved in approving and setting up and what our obligations are, no?
So I would have to read the law in its entirety. I don't want to take a section of the
Yeah.
law and then try to interpret what that means
Right.
off the cuff right now.
But we have a
so.
planning board attorney
Right.
who is handling that application, who
Wait,
has
wait.
all of that legal expertise and is surely making sure that all of those things that the town is obligated to have done, right? They wouldn't be approving a project without informing the town that we would have a housing board that would be administering this project.
So I think what we need to do is ask Ian to investigate that law.
I think
and
we're
to-
duplicating, I mean, I'm happy to keep paying Ian. The last bill was $16,000 for May.
But that's,
So
but that's,
we have a planning board plan. It's fine with me. I will just say that I would appreciate that we go with a lawyer who is in fact administering this on behalf of the town for the planning board. That
but
project,
this is a town,
not the town code lawyer.
she certainly is comfortable with our town code. I hope. If we don't, we are spending way too much money. We have to have a planning board attorney who understands our
when
town
that
codes
question
and
was
laws.
asked, we don't get a straight answer, though, I will tell you. I go to all the planning board meetings, and that's why I suggest that we ask our town attorney to
Okay.
interpret our code.
I just don't want to duplicate legal research.
Just speaking to that point that was raised by Judy, I think the reason that difficult language is in there is because in the past, there has been corruption by public figures where folks got housing that maybe somebody else didn't, and there was those kinds of situations. So what they've tried to do is make sure everybody's watching everybody else so that nothing goes wrong. As long as you've got your due process laid out clearly and it's followed, you're probably going to be okay. So I think it's not as bad as it looks, but the reason it's written that way is for accountability.
So we can revisit this at the next meeting.
So am I looking at this or not? Do you want the
Yes.
planning board attorney to look at
Well,
it,
I
or do
think
you
we
want me to
should.
look at it?
Personally, I think you both should, together.
We could do that?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
could do that?
To be clear, both should be clear, you should be clear, they should be clear with the
And if
one
she's already done a bunch of
page.
research, she can provide
Yeah,
that to you and say, here
exactly.
is where the gray area
Sure.
might be.
I-
And then
I'll
you
reach
can
out.
take- Yeah, there's no
Thank you.
need to
Hopefully.
research this.
Yeah.
I will call
And
Victoria.
I honestly don't know at this point whether it has been researched, but by the planning board either. I have never heard it discussed. I've heard questions raised about whether this project's going to be bonded, because there has been talk, if it's not, then if the water fails, if the septic fails, it's going to be up to the town.
I'm sure there's bonding involved in a
And
project
so,
of a major
well, I
subdivision.
couldn't get an answer from HRH.
Well, no, it really, we should, it's very
They said
important
the
because
HOA would take care of
even when I was on the board,
Their own homeowners, there must be a process for bonding. You cannot do a major subdivision
well,
without a bond. You
yeah.
didn't do a sidewalk without a bond, performance bond. We didn't do a landfill without a
I
performance
understand,
bond.
but I'm
Do
just-
performance bonds to make sure. Yeah, but we have a
Anyway,
performance bond, right?
anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It needs to be looked into, because even when I was on the planning board, there were things that were questioned, and I don't think they've been answered yet, like, oh, we're giving the street to the town later. I mean, it can't be like that, so that was a different lawyer, but thank you, look into it.
There is a
Appreciate it.
history of questions with regards to the applicability of that law. It's a relatively new law. in the town, so I think it would be a good idea to have both council to take a look. And I don't have a problem working with Victoria to do so.
Thank you.
I just want to make one other comment. Our Councilwoman Ahern is not here because her daughter Taylor Ahern was inducted into the Junior National Honor Society, so congratulate her and all the Weeputuck students who were inducted tonight into the Honor Society. Kudos for all your hard work.
Yes. I forgot one thing too.
Matt thinks he's making public comment.
Oh, go right ahead, Matt, sorry.
I just wanted to weigh in on the internet thing real quick. So in an old building, it's best to prioritize the 2.4 gigahertz signal because of old materials. But it's also, internet speed actually has less to do with it than it does bandwidth. So I would contact Optimum and make sure you guys have some sort of either business bandwidth or something, because you could have 1 gig internet, but if you don't have very much bandwidth, you could run one laptop like a hot rod, and then your next phone next to it won't even work. So that would be the thing to look into, and then just make sure that they have the network set up as like as a wireless mesh, so that way. But you have a lot of speed here. I just think it might be bandwidth that's causing the problems. And when you add the AV system and everything else, you have cameras and everything else that might put a tax on the system. So it may be worth just checking if you can update or increase the bandwidth to the program. So.
Okay, thank you.
I forgot to ask one question that has been brought to my attention. I understand, I've never done it, but I understand that people in the water districts cannot pay their bills online anymore, and we want to know when that can get fixed.
Well, that, again, is another issue. I had a conversation with Nancy, who does the water billing, and they thought they had it fixed. And I don't know what the problem is, because we seem to be able to pay tax bills online, and we seem to be able to pay dog licenses online. Why can't we pay water?
We have two different vendors. We have two different systems set up. I'm going through the BAS system, to which is Edmunds Gov. You guys have gone with a third-party vendor that is, so it's a different platform. It's not all connected. So unfortunately, I can't tell you why. I can just tell you all my stuff works.
So what would be the problem with changing to the,
in one word?
Yeah.
Cost. You guys have done this twice, changed it in the last, and I don't want to speak for water, because I'm one of the people that can't pay online, so. There's a cost factor, and I think it would be appropriate for this conversation to be had with the water district, and the chair's not here, so maybe an email to that water committee, and they can maybe at their next water meeting, which is coming up next week, can discuss this.
We could look into putting the water department site on the BAS. And then it would not require redoing the entire.
I mean, there's things that can be done, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
When I spoke,
Leave my
when
lane.
I text Nancy, when I sent a message to Nancy, this is what she came back to me. She said, the company that was processing our online payments identified a potential risk, and we had to shut it down. It's my understanding that we need our billing software company to serve as a portal for payments and to get a new payment processor that the software company works with. Anyway, thank you.
We're going to have a meeting May 1st, we can address this, thank you.
Wonderful.
It's,
and you're on, you're the
Yeah.
lead?
years we haven't been able to anyway, but, yeah, we can ask. I guess it partly depends on what it's going to cost. You guys have to decide that.
I would hope that they would look into if you're going to pay online, you have to pay the fee. So the credit card fee and the user fee would go into, oh, your bill is $1,200, I don't know what it is, it's $400. You pay an additional $30 to cover whatever it costs to process it. So you make a decision, do you want to put a check in the mail, do you want to drop off some cash, I don't know what you think.
Okay, so
No?
for taxes, I'll just generalize it real quick, just so you guys know what's available to your other utilities. Currently, what happens is you can either pay online by a credit card, debit card or by e-check. Our e-check is $1.50, so of course, it doesn't matter if what you're paying, it's a flat $1.50. Paying by credit card, it's a 2.99% or 3%, depending on the card. Some cards do have a little bit more, because I see that in the court, depending on who the card is. What's unique about those two systems, when I'm talking about the town clerk's office, the tax collection office, and the court, is that we have a system that it's all communicating together. So if you go online and you look up, my address of, 4988 Route 22, it pulls up and it actually generates the bill. So that way you can see what my tax bill is, and then you can go in and do and follow the process of how to make that payment. With water, you're gonna have to do the same thing. You're gonna have to be able to allow them, and I think that's kind of in part what some of the issues have been, is that the systems, sometimes going with the least costly system may not give you all the bells and whistles. So when you go on, I just want to go on and pay $125. Well, folks are then calling saying, how much is my bill? Can I prepay? How does it work? So do you want something that's all networked together, so that way you can actually see your physical bill, print out the receipt? Or are you just looking for a portal area where they just go in and they type in their name, their address, and they're paying a flat $125, and then the staff has to then go and match those up? So I mean, there's different ways to handle it. How's the fastest way to do it?
Yeah, I know.
I can tell you my opinion on it, but again, we've multiple times now gone with the least costly program. And because we look at it, there's 300 customers, how many people are gonna pay it online? I have the school board president here. The first thing that I said 5 years ago when I took over school tax collection, I need to offer online tax payments. And there was a lot of hesitation, and now a majority of my payments are online. It is the most safest, timely way to pay. You're gonna mail me a check, you're sending 74 cents to send it to me, then you're gonna wait for me to send it back, that's another 74 cents. And then the time frame and the delay. I
People
can't
stealing
encourage-
checks out of the mail?
Yeah, people are stealing checks. I mean, people have been dealing with check washing. I think online payment processing, no matter what time of day or night, what country they're in, they can make their online payments. So, I mean, you guys do have a project ahead of you.
And
Sorry, Water.
And
No, you are right, and I have to say, with no disrespect to people who really want to pay theirs online, Nancy tells us that like 70% of people don't pay. It goes on their taxes and gets paid at the end of the year. So you're talking about 30%.
And then has 70%, how many of them are paying their tax bills online?
No, I know.
So I'm trying to,
But the thing is, the water district is pretty much centered around the
Yeah.
town hall.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't, like I say, I don't mean to make light of the fact that some people would like to pay it, but we need to see what it's gonna cost.
And I'm respectful to that, but, I get to facilitate a lot of those calls, and then I have to send them upstairs when they're not there. But at the end of the day, I have a lot of folks that tell me they don't have checks. So to pay online,
that's true.
that's a huge
That is true.
thing now. Folks don't walk, do you have your checkbook on you? No,
No,
they
my
just
friends
swipe
don't
it,
have
swipe
checks.
it,
Yeah.
swipe it.
You're absolutely-
DEC licensing, everybody pays with credit card.
I'm amazed at the number of people that have no checks.
Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
don't know how to fill one out.
Oh, okay, well, she's a teacher, you can't tell her that.
But we will.
Yeah, it's
Well,
true.
yeah, I'll be there.
So go to the May 1st, you said?
May 1st, yeah.
What time?
It's 7 o'clock.
We could probably do it a little earlier if you want to, if that's,
Well, we figure we should really keep it.
whatever you need. I mean, I'm trying
I
to,
mean, that way people don't have to check every month, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for offering.
I mean, it's hard for me with the commute, but
No,
I'm
well,
trying my best.
That way you don't have to eat dinner. It's really-
I never do even with that, but thank you. Haven't yet, tonight.
Okay, anything else? So I make a motion that we close the meeting. It is 8:37, 38.
Second?
Oh, second.
Thank you, Walter. All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Have a great night, everyone.
No, it's not on a Friday.